Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at the Wheel of Spades once again. Obviously, as explained at the start of this week with the post, I will be taking a week or so off just to recharge the batteries. I have been feeling a little bit burnt out, not because of keeping up with 8 videos a week, that's not been a problem. It's more the fact that work has been quite tiring me out, because I'm still stuck in the same job for those that are curious. But things are looking up for me. I'm hopefully going to be getting a new job soon, so that's at least something. But I just want to recharge the batteries and just chill myself out for a week or so. And, you know, just take it a bit easy, because at the end of the day, I do push myself quite a bit. So as per normal, this is, of course, my series where we take a look at vehicles that I have spaded across my much War Thunder time. And, of course, we do have a multitude of vehicles on this wheel. I did debate chucking a couple of naval vehicles in, but I didn't in the end. Obviously, down in the description below, there's the usual timestamps and everything like that, and also the usual links. And, well, let's spin the wheel and see what we get, because we've had a pretty good streak so far. So let's see if we can keep that up. And we get... the wheel is slowing down, so it can be anything now. I have no idea. The P-38L-1, so that's the 4.7 P-38. That'll be interesting. I do love myself a Lockheed. And, well, I do love myself a P-38 in general. And, well, that's no exception. Let's go to the hangar, and let's take a look at it. And welcome to the hangar. I'm sure Harry's going to be laughing right now, because I'm not taking the American one. I am not getting stuck on USA teams. I know, technically, if you want to be specific, the P-38L in the American tech tree is the L5, this is the L1. They're pretty much the same plane. I've not noticed a single difference between them. And while I'd rather face the USA teams than deal with them. So that's kind of why I'm pulling a bit of a cheat code here. And this will apply to certain aircraft, like if I don't want to be in a specific nation for them, and it's obviously in the tech tree. Like, I'm not going to be taking premiums as part of this series, that's not fair. So yeah, I will be doing that where possible, because I'm going to spare myself the pain of USA teams. So the P-38L is, of course, a later version of the P-38. It's not the latest version of the P-38 we have, but, you know, it's one that is very much appreciated by the players in War Thunder. It's obviously a very good climber. It's a decent turner for a twin-engined aircraft. It's pretty well armed as well. And once you get this thing wound up, you can really start to do some work on a team. Obviously, we are ranked 3, 4.7, and, well, luckily for you, I do remember roughly how this spade went. And with the Chinese one, at least, it went decently. Except the fact that when I did spade this thing, I was on Chinese and Russian teams. That's how long ago the spade was. They were not exactly great players, because the good players were flying the Chinese aircraft, and the Muppets were flying the Russian aircraft, thinking that they were going to get 3 wins, because they had the Chinese on their team. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen very much. But obviously, at that time, you was facing the Japanese, so you was facing Key 43, well, later Key 43s, Key 84s, KI-61s, late model Zeros, A7Ms, you know, and this aircraft can more than deal with them, but obviously there are a few things to consider with this aircraft. Number 1, the wings. These wings are full of fuel and are very fragile. Be careful. Do not take unnecessary risks. I know this thing is marked as an interceptor, but don't be tail-sitting bombers in this thing. It's not going to end very well. The engines are very vulnerable to fires, and whilst they do have good power, power doesn't make up for the fact that they are burning. So please do make sure to consider that when flying this aircraft. Another thing to consider is the twin boom its actual self. Obviously, this is where the turbo superchargers are housed. Well, mostly anyway. The problem is, as you can tell, there's not a lot of metal holding this together. So, taking cannon fire especially will rip this thing to pieces. So, try to avoid cannon fire where possible, and use boom and zoom tactics where required. Now, luckily for you, I don't have to mention any tips about the armament, because it's all on the nose. You get a single 20mm and 4 50 cal machine guns. Pretty nice arrangement, and of course you do get the option to, you know, bring gun pods and stuff. Which, obviously, this thing does get ordnance, unlike most P-38s. We do get 10 HVARs mounted in this really weird setup. Now, the HVARs on this, interestingly enough, same with the other P-38 and the other later aircraft in America, they are slightly different HVARs, but it's mainly cosmetic. We also do get 2 500-pound bombs in the center line, which will be pretty useful. And then, of course, we do get 2 gun pods. Now, you can bring the gun pods if you want, but bear in mind, this is not real life where you could drop them after you've used them. You have to live with the drag. And, well, the P-38 relies a lot on its performance. So make sure to consider that. Obviously, if we was to take anything, it would probably be the rockets, because at least the rockets can, be fired at bombers, can be fired at ground targets, and the tubing doesn't provide as much drag as, well, the gun pods. The bomb racks are also another solid choice, because obviously they are in the line of the propellers, so the drag is nowhere near as much, but it's still relatively relevant, but, you can take that if you want. Obviously, gone are the days where you had to run ground target belts on the American 20s, run air targets, and as for the 12.7s, it really doesn't matter because these are, well, this particular P-38 does have the late model, as we call it, the late war belts. So you can take tracers if you want. I prefer ground. It gives less indication that you're firing at an enemy, and most importantly, you don't need to be firing tracers. You have the 20mm to back you up in terms of damage output. You really don't need to. But honestly, this plane is really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it does. And, well, like I said, it's been a while since I've flown a P-38, and, well, looking forward to seeing how she does. So, let's get into a match, and see how we do. And welcome to the match. We're about 6 kilometers above the Earth, and, well, that's standard for a P-38. Unfortunately, I did get stuck on USA teams regardless, so it did make a monkeys of a difference that I took the Chinese P-38. Sadly, I still get stuck on USA teams even with the Chinese P-38, which that is unfortunately just how the cookie crumbles. So one thing I forgot to mention in the intro part is, you see those little flaps that are now extending? That's an air brake. This thing gets dive recovery flaps. They're not as good as standard air brakes, but they are good enough so that you can control the aircraft to a certain extent and at least pull out of a dive. Which I will try and demonstrate here as we go full throttle towards this J-26. Okay, he's pulling off, that's fine. J-21 there, that's fine. We can deal with him. Obviously, we have the altitude advantage and we want to keep it that way. The P-38 is very good at boom and zoom maneuvers. And, well, we kind of want to keep it so that, we have the opportunities that we do. Where's the 26 setting himself up? He is. So now watch the throttles, and like I say, watch the airspeed of this thing. It does not like going above certain speeds. Nice. I didn't even have the dive recovery flaps down, and I knew when to pull out of that dive, and that was about that time. So now all we do is we put the throttles to full, and we extend. Because what's that J-21 going to do? Throw a strongly worded letter at me? I've seen one of Harry's lines now. But as you can see, this thing is a homesick angel. She loves to climb. Obviously, you have to watch the engine temps, but that's only really when you're climbing. I find, anyway. As long as you're not, like, weapon the balls off this thing, like, 24/7, it's more than adequate. So let's drop the air brakes. He is cutting us out of our turn, so we're not going to bother. We'll retract the air brakes. And I'm just going to call it an air brake, not a dive recovery flap for the rest of this, because it's just easier that way. Nice, he's down. Get 9k, can't pull for a shot because of the compression. And now we just go back up. We go back up and loop her around. Okay, never mind, he put it in the ground, that's fine. Is that friendly? Yeah, that's fine. So now we can run down this BF-109, because if there's one thing he's not going to outrun, it's either a 44 or a P-38 Lightning. This thing is very fast, and, well, we're going to use that to our advantage. Nice, he's down. And that all that leaves is 2 enemy players. I don't know where they are, but, well, we will find them. It's fine. Plus, we can always ground strike. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care what I do, as long as I get to do it. We'll head over there to those pillboxes. But no, that is pretty much, like, as long as you know what the P-38L can do, it's a really strong plane. And, well, have you noticed that, fair enough, we got some P-51s, but they all died in head-ons, so don't count those guys. The top, like, the players who actually died and, like, actually got kills that weren't head-ons are the 2 that didn't take aircraft to try and get on a USA team. So, Yeah, there's a good reason why I didn't do it, but still. Like I said, it doesn't hugely matter. You can call it cheating, I guess, but, well, I might as well do it. You know, I'll save myself a bit of pain. There's a lot of pain that could happen on this wheel, let's put it that way. As I'm sure Harry already knows. Alright, let's get some ground targets, because we have got very heavy firepower for doing this. What the fuck? I think that was a gaijin bug, because I didn't hit anything. I'm going to go back through the footage, but, well, I guess I'll see you in game 2, unfortunately. And welcome to the second match. I actually stopped my recording just so I could go and look and see what happened. Yeah, in typical gaijin fashion, there was nothing there. Unless the squirrel's got a big freaking machete or something and it cut my wing off. Yeah, I really have no idea what happened, but, well, I think I can guess, because gaijin are very lazy when it comes to collision models. For those that don't know, I did a games design course. I did 3D modeling and collision boxes and things like that. And in typical fashion, gaijin are very lazy when it comes to theirs. That's him gone. Nice. You did a great job protecting your bomber, Mr. SM92. I'm just saying, you did a great job. Only got a couple of hits with the 50s, that's unfortunate. That's the B-25's wing severed at the very least. I'm going to go for the other B-25, I might as well. I mean, it's up here, and, well, I don't want people, you know... Really, dude? It's missing both wings, come on. Some people are so desperate to steal, man. Like, you know it's going down. Just leave it. So desperate. And there we go, didn't even get a kill. Like, come on, bro. Like, severely damaged aircraft countered. What is he doing? Is he throwing it away to deny the kill? Or is he, like, throwing some Lancaster sort of maneuvers to try and lose me in the cloud or something? I just heard a wing rip. Yeah, he's throwing it away to deny the kill. But unfortunately for him, once I can lose a bit of speed, which I'm not losing right now, we might be able to get it just before he crashes. Yeah, nice try, Mr. B-25, but guess what? I'm getting a kill credit. I don't get people like that. Like, I get it. You're in a B-25 and you're being intercepted by an interceptor, you know. I get it. It's frustrating. But unfortunately, that is part of the game. Like, you know, if you're flying a bomber in this day and age, you're going to get hunted, you know. Like, he got a base kill and that's it. The other dude, which was the other B-25, I think he got an assist. Like, I understand his frustration, you know, like, getting intercepted by an interceptor and things like that, but at the end of the day, that's what you signed up for, flying a bomber. It's just as simple as that. So we've got a Firefly coming heads up. I don't want to take a head-on with this, but, well, I'm going to have to dodge it. He is maneuverable, but, well, I can go in a vertical. I don't need to worry about his agility. J-26 is coming in, though. I do need to worry about that. Because, of course, it sees the P-38 going vertical, and it decides, yes, you must be my bitch. Right. And we are not more maneuverable than a J-26/P-51 D-20. Well, that's one way to do it, I guess. I tried to get out of the way, but, well, that didn't exactly work now, did it? And there we go, that is 3 kills. I'll take it. I mean, it's a kill. Kill's a kill, but, well, not the way I wanted to end, but, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, in the first case, gaijin sabotaged me by their shit coding and shit map design. And in that second case, the J-26 clearly was lonely, or maybe he was cold, I don't know. After all, hugs solve everything when it comes to cold. That I have learned in my lifetime, but anyway. That's going to be it for today, obviously, with the P-38. This is not a bad plane at all. Fair enough, I obviously got shafted by gaijin, and in that case I got hugged, but, you know, this is a really solid plane. Like, it's not too difficult to actually fly it, you know. Like, there's a lot of things going for it, with its, you know, agility, its overall capabilities and stuff like that. And, well, you know, it's one of those aircraft that I've always respected, but you know, not many people fly this thing, and those that do don't particularly like it because of its fragile nature. You know, like, it's not a very durable aircraft. But outside of that, you really should have no complaints. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. Obviously, this will be the last video for about a week or so, just so I can have a bit of a breather and chill out for a bit. And obviously, we'll be back to normal starting from roughly next week. It depends on when I choose to come back. Obviously, I don't want to take too long off, because obviously the algorithm doesn't like that. And, well, not many people do like that anyway in general when it comes to content creation. But yeah, I'm going to go off, enjoy my break, because I do kind of need it. And, well, I'll see you next time.